Congratulations on the purchase of your new Lotus Caravan. In this video, we're going to do a full talk-through of all the features and specifications so that you can hit the road in comfort and style. Starting off, we've got our DO45 hitch. This is a 4.5 ton fully articulating hitch that can go in all directions to make sure that your caravan is safe being towed in those off-road environments. The way that it works is you've got your 45 pin, which comes up underneath. Once it's in position, we can lock it on, connecting it to your tow vehicle. To make sure that it's locked on properly, we've got a dust cover cap, which goes on the top. And if that locks into position, you know that it's all fitted correctly and that you're locked on, ready to go. Cool, so next around the hitch, we've got our safety chains. This is a 4.5 ton rated short link chain, and make sure that when you're connecting it to your tow vehicle, we cross our chains over just to create a bit of a safety net that if it ever did come off, it sits inside the chain rather than the hitch hitting the ground. Another safety feature that we've got on the front of the Caravan here is this RV electronic breakaway. So any vehicle of this weight needs to have a breakaway cable that connects to your tow vehicle. And again, if your Caravan became detached from your tow vehicle for whatever reason, it pulls this pin out, locking the brakes on the Caravan, making sure that it doesn't run into oncoming traffic. Really important tip, don't use this as a safety or as a security feature. It's only going to lock the brakes on for about 10 minutes before the battery runs flat, so you can't use it as an anti-theft device. Also on the front, we've got our 12-pin plug and our Anderson plug. Our Anderson plug is to run the DC to DC charger to charge the lithium batteries that are on this van, and our 12-pin plug runs all of our lights, trailer lights, brakes, etc. This van's also got hot and cold taps on the drawbar. We've got our jockey wheel for putting our van onto our back of our car. In the middle of the toolbox here, we've got our gas bottles. This one comes with two 4.5 kilo gas bottles with a changeover valve in the middle so that you can select either one as you go. Yeah, so we've got our LC27 connections, which are the new gas bottle type connections. Connect that onto the gas bottle and then we can turn our gas bottle on, and then we've got a changeover valve here that we use to make sure we can select either gas bottle as well. Cool, so this toolbox we just open, it's got a compression lock on the side, drops down, and it even comes with a handy generator slide, which locks into place. Moving along on the side of the van here, we've got our 240 volt inlet socket. Really important to note, all Caravans come with a 15 amp plug, and the way to tell the difference if it's got a larger earth pin, you know it's a 15 amp. So that's the difference between the 15 amp plug, which has got a larger earth pin, and your normal 10 amp extension cord that you'll have at home. So using your 15 amp female end, I can slide it in there nice and secure, close that lid, lock it into place. At a Caravan park, you'll have a 15 amp connection at the Caravan park, but if you're at home and you need to plug into your house, you can use one of these devices called an Amphibian, which converts it from 15 amp to 10 amp and comes with its own RCD for protection. And next door is the RCD protection, or the residual current device protection. Cool, so behind here we've got our full galvanised boot lining, goes all the way through, called a tunnel boot. There's also a switch here which turns on and operates the front spotlight. And inside your tunnel boots for things like putting your hoses and your leads and your leveling ramps and your awning accessories and things like that. So next we've got our Instantaneous hot water system. It's pretty much a set and forget, there's not much you need to know about it. However, inside the little inspection hatch, you do have a fuse and a switch if you need to get at it. So all Caravans come with these corner steady legs. These ones here, the way to operate them is just take a little bit of the weight of the leg off, pull the handle out, and you can bring it all the way down and lock it into position. If you're on uneven ground and you can't get all the way, they do lock into position at various angles as well, but always preferable if you can to keep it perpendicular to the ground. We then use our handle with our 19mm socket. We wind it out just until we've taken the weight off. Important to note that we don't use this for trying to level the van. It's just there to take the rock out from the suspension when you're moving inside. So you might notice on your van that there's this little screw in the side of the checker plate. It's not a mistake, it is there by design. And what it actually does is it earths the aluminium checker plate to the 240 volt system to prevent any electric shock from happening in case of a fault. Also on the outside of this van here, you've got a coaxial point. So if you had a caravan park in those remote regions where you can't get your terrestrial TV antenna signal, sometimes they'll have their own TV cords that you can plug into the outside of your van. Next along here, we've got our external shower kit. So again, hot and cold taps, really cool for getting the sand off after you've been to the beach. And you just turn it on, hit your handle and get your water out. Yeah, so next along here we've got a SIG socket, so if you're running an air compressor or something for your tyres or just another accessory on this side. And then up the top there we've actually got a Starlink pass-through connection, so it's an RJ45 connection for running your Starlink Mini or your Starlink Gen 3. So on this Lotus Trooper Caravan we've got a series of brass taps and manifolds here for managing the water storage on board and the mains water connection. This one here on the right hand side is our mains water, so if we're in a caravan park we can plug our water into there. It's got a pressure reducing valve behind it, which is designed to, if you have too much pressure in a caravan park, it prevents the John Guest water lines from coming detached. Then here we've got 3 brass taps with blue cock valves underneath, and these are for our 3 water tanks that are on board. 2 are for fresh water and 1 is a dedicated drinking water tank. Which actually runs off its own dedicated water pump, which means it's great. You can actually have fresh water running for your showers and to wash your dishes. And if you're free camping somewhere and you want to fill up on the creek, you can actually fill up creek water into these tanks, still keeping 1 solely just for your dedicated drinking water. You've also got these 2 valves here, and what these do is for your 2 freshwater tanks, you can isolate just drawing off 1 tank only and turning 1 tank off. It helps balance the weight on the caravan, as well as ensuring that you don't run out of water by just using 1 tank at a time. Cool, next behind the water tank manifold, you've got your Solage connection. So when you're plugged into a caravan park, you can just plumb your Solage hose in and run that to the drain at the caravan park. But when you're free camping, there's also a grey water tank fitted to this van. And up under here, there's a little isolation valve, so you just turn that off. It'll fill your grey water tank with all your shower water and from your sink. And then when you're somewhere safe to do so, you can open that valve up and drain your grey water tank. Right, around the back of the van now, we've got 2 20-litre jerry can holders, as well as our tail lights and a wood carrying rack to put your firewood and things in. Up the top there, we've got a wireless rear view camera. That wireless rear view camera is designed to point to the back of the van so you can see the traffic behind you when you're travelling, but you can also point it down to see a bit of the bumper when to aid in reversing. It comes with a wireless monitor kit which just plugs into the SIG socket on your vehicle. Another cool thing to know about your Lotus Trooper Caravan, this little cover on the back here is actually an access hatch to be able to get at the plumbing fixtures behind your shower. So behind this little hatch here, we've got ourselves the Cruise Master airbag system. So it's from an Airbag man, and we just turn the power on and then we can use the van to level left and right as we go. And you can see the side of the van lifting up, or if we need to drop it down, we can drop it down. One of the other really cool things about that comes with your van is it also comes with a pump up kit, which means when you're travelling off-road and you need to let your tyres down and it's time to pump them back up, we've got an air line out and we can use that to pump our tyres up. Pretty cool. All right, moving along, we've got another SIG socket here if you do need to run your fridges or anything outside, or again another 12 volt air compressor. Here we've got a massive Fusion soundbar, and behind this hatch is our premium entertainment unit. So we've got a couple of coax points for getting your feed from your antenna on top. We've got a SIG socket again for running your TV outside, a TV bracket so you can just bring your TV, plonk it on out here and watch your telly. And behind here we've also got a Garmin radio controller so that you can Bluetooth, AM, FM, your radio to this outside speaker. We've also got USB-A and USB-C charging. All right, Next along here, we've got our picnic table, just 2 little tabs, pops down. We've got a little light on the side as well, so you can see above it, 240 volt power to run your coffee machine or any of those sort of appliances. Then inside our tunnel boot hatch on this side, again, goes all the way through, plenty of storage. You've got your jack in there, your co-jack for jacking up your caravan, and it's also got your VIN plate, which gives you all the really important information, like what your tear weight is, what your ATM is, how much payload you got, and also really importantly, what recommended tyre pressures to run your tyres at. So next up, we've got the toilet cassette in behind this little compartment. We open it up, finger underneath on the green lever, we can pull it out. There's a little handle here and wheels as well. If it's too heavy, you can carry it along to the dump point. When you get to the dump point, pull the spout out, open the lid up. When we're tipping it in, there's a little green button that we push down that lets air back inside the canister as the liquid comes out. There's also an inspection port here if you want to get your hose in to try and hose it out a bit more. We can pop the lid back on. And when we push it in, make sure we push it in all the way until we hear the click, and then we know it's ready to go for next time. All right, let's move on and have a look at the awning. Got our reachy pole here. First thing we're going to do is reach up and change over to the open position. We'll undo the travel locks on the arms and the awning knobs on both sides. Using our reachy pole up into the pull down strap, and then we can start rolling it out. Once we've rolled it out all the way, slide our travel arms up locked in, and then we'll go to the other side as well. Slide our awning bars up until they click into place, and then we can grab our lever, slide it up. Once we've got it on the height that we want, and we just put tension on our awning knob. Another way that we can have it set up to give us easier access to the side, we'll just loosen that, bring it back down again to your desired height. We can unclick it from the side of the van, have it set up there, tighten our awning knob. So it gives you nicer access to the side, and if you do have your awning set up like this, make sure you use some suitable pegs to tie it all down. So when we're finished and we're ready to pack up our awning, we pretty much do it all in reverse. So we'll undo the tension on the awning knob, slide our leg back in. We can slide this all the way down. We'll go to the other side and do the same. Slide it all down, undo our awning knob, release the arms back in. So we slide this down, and then already take a bit of tension off the barrel, flick it into the closed position, grab our awning strap. Once we get to about here, we'll put our reachy stick back in. And we want to make sure when it goes in with a little bit of an oomph to make sure that it winds up nice and tight and doesn't flap around. And don't forget, the last thing, travel lock on, tighten up the awning knob so it doesn't rattle off when you're driving. All right, it's nearly time to head inside, but before we do, have a look at this door. It's actually a triple action, so it's got locks at the bottom, in the middle, and at the top, which means when you close the door and then rotate the handle, it pulls the door in for a nice, tight, and secure fit. Another great feature about this door is you can separate it. So you've got your fly wire midgie protection on here, and you can keep that one open for good ventilation and airflow. And the van also comes with step light and Bargman light for your grab handle too. So another little thing about these lights, if you just push it once, you see a blue light come on. Great for when you're at those campsites and you need to find your way back to the van without wanting a big bright light blinding you. Push it again and you do get your full light too. Let's head inside and we'll have a look at what's in there. Cool, so in all the Lotus Caravans, they are fitted with a Red Arc battery management system. This one's got the alpha charger as well. There's alpha 50s, 75s and 100s, just based on the amount of amps that you can get, and they just step up with the increase in battery capacity. They're all managed by a RedVision display. On this RedVision display, we can turn off the lights inside and outside the van. So on the RedVision, we've got our white lights, and also when we're camping, we've got amber lights too to keep those bugs away. We can also turn on and off the 240 volt inverter, the 12 volt accessories, the water heater, the water pumps. In addition to switching, it also tells us the information like how much battery capacity we've got left, what amps we're drawing, if we've got any solar input coming in, as well as our water tank storage on all three of our main water tanks and our grey water tank too. So at the moment we're not plugged into 240 volt. You can see that we've got 11.8 amps drawing from the battery, and the little symbol of the light there is your load. So there's full 11.7 coming from the battery into your load, which also tells us how long we've got left, roughly 2 days if we're using 11 amps worth of power. So stacks of battery capacity, lots of information there. You can also Bluetooth this display to an app on your phone, so you don't have to get out of bed or get up from your campsite outside if you want to turn your lights on and off. So to connect our RedVision display to our app on our phone, we just scroll across until we see charger settings, and then scroll all the way up until you see the picture of this Bluetooth symbol. We push the Bluetooth symbol and it puts it into Bluetooth pairing mode. On the app on our phone, we can then come in, add device. It finds the RedVision display and starts pairing it. It'll come up with a code which matches the code that's on the RedVision display. So 955739 pair, and it's just bringing all that information from the RedVision and the Alpha system into your phone, including your water tank levels, your battery status, all your switches. Cool, so behind this big battery modular system here is your Alpha system as well as your inverter. It's got a bunch of circuit breakers too, as well as your shunt for your RedVision system. And then underneath me is where the lithium batteries are stored. These are screwed down tight because they've got to be in a sealed compartment to meet the new lithium battery regulations. So this van's got the super high quality Fusion AM, FM and Bluetooth radio, stereo speakers up underneath here, as well as the outside speaker. You can control that from inside here or from the outside remote that we showed you before. So throughout the van, we've got all these down lights, stacks of lighting inside here, as well as these reading lamps. And a cool thing about these reading lamps, if you just push the button once, you just get a nice soft blue light for at night time, and then push it again, you've got your full reading lamp. Over onto the windows. So when we open all these trouble locks up, the window goes open. Just tighten the little knobs to keep the window open at the desired point. We've got a fly screen to keep all those bugs out. And then, really cool, at night, full block out as well. Now, when you're traveling, really important that we travel with the fly screens in the down position. The reason being is if you have it traveling in the up position, when you're going over those corrugations or driving along, these can rattle down and lose the tension in the strings behind. Keeping them down just means that you won't have that problem. All right, so on either side of the bed, you've got wireless charging pads to charge your mobile phone at night. You've got these cool little drawers underneath, all soft closing, as well as stacks of storage around for your hanging up, above the top, just everything all around. We've got a smoke alarm for keeping us safe. Up above the bed, we've also got this Sorocco fan. We can pull that down, turn that on, have it pointed at us in bed, and we can even point it around the other way and have it pointed at us in the couch. So lots of really cool features about this van, and we can pop that away when we're not using it. The van's also got a DRS, or a dust reduction system, which is a passive dust reduction system. And what that means is if you're traveling above 30 kilometers an hour, it forces wind in through the vent at the top, which goes through a filter here. It positively pressurizes the van, which means if you're on those dusty roads, there's more air trying to escape out of the vents than can be sucked into the vents, so it keeps that dust out of the van. Another really cool feature that you get in a Lotus. So this van is fitted with a NCE smart TV. When you go into a different region, you may need to retune your TV at times. To do that, all TVs are pretty similar. We just got to go find our settings, come down to all settings. This one is going to be in general, programs, program tuner. Now there's, and then we'll just do auto tuning. It's going to ask me that we've got it plugged in. Now where it's plugged in, there is a booster as well, so we want to make sure the booster's turned on. We'll run through the settings and it's going to start trying to find all your TV channels. Once it's finished all that, you should be up and running. So up where you plug your TV in, there's actually two coaxial points. The one that's marked wine guard is for the antenna that's on the roof of the van, and then there's a different coaxial point which is connected to that input socket that we showed earlier on the outside of the van. So we've got our new Dometic compressor fridge, works off the battery when you're free camping and automatically switches to 240 volt when you're plugged into shore power. The fridge door opens both ways, so really easy to access any items from within your fridge. And then on the settings, there's not much to change because it just does it automatically for you, but you can dial it from 1 or right up to 5 if you want those nice icy cold beers. Directly underneath the fridge is your two water pumps. So one of the water pumps is for your two fresh tanks, and the other one is just a dedicated drinking water so you don't contaminate if you're needing to fill up at the creek. And they're located there. All right, let's move on to the kitchen. So this is the kitchen here. We've got our cutlery drawers and our pot drawers. One really cool thing about it, all soft close. Another wonderful feature about the Lotus Trooper that you get is there's also additional locks in here, which mean when you're traveling on corrugated roads and this accidentally pops out, it locks all your drawers and your cupboards in so that they don't come out. Up here we've got some more USB-A and USB-C charging points. We've got our inverted power points. In this top overhead cupboard, there's a power point here and the other end of that pass through for your Starlink. So if you're running a Gen 3 Starlink, you can power it off your inverter and have your RJ connection going through the wall for your dishy to run outside. For our tapware, we've got our hot and cold flick mixer connected to the two fresh tanks. And then we've also got the filtered water, which is coming off a separate water pump and a dedicated drinking water tank. For cooking, we've got two induction hot plates here, again running off your inverter and running off your shore power, as well as a full microwave and convection oven underneath. More storage, again all soft closing, and a full pull-out pantry. Above our induction cooktop, we've got our range hood with your light and with your fans for cooking inside. And above our range hood, we've got the controls for our instantaneous hot water system, as well as some fuses and our 240 controls for our aircon. With your instantaneous hot water system, you can set the desired temperature, which means you don't waste any water. You don't have to worry about trying to mix hot and cold. You just set the temperature of the hot water system to what you want it to be. So the van's also fitted with a reverse cycle Dometic air conditioner. You can operate it using the remote or by pushing the buttons up here. Behind the aircon is this really nice roof vent, gets good fresh air in. When it's open, we've got full fly wire, and then when we're ready to close up at night, pull it closed, lock it in place, and we've also got a full block out. And one last thing, when you're traveling, don't forget to close your roof vents. Let's head on into the bathroom. So using the toilet in this van, we can just pop the lid, open the flap by pulling the lever at the bottom, do the business that you need to do, and then we've got a button here which is connected to the fresh water tank. Really important to note on here is that when you see this light come on, it doesn't actually mean your cassette's half full, it's more like 3/4 full. And then when the second light comes on, stop doing what you're doing because she's completely full. And then close the flap when you finish to prevent any smells from coming back out. This van's also got an NCE top load washing machine. We just lift the lid there, open up the lid of the washing machine. Inside there's a little travel basket which also locks the drum in place so that when you're going over corrugation it doesn't jump out of its out of where it needs to be. To use the washing machine, it's pretty straightforward. Power on. You can select if you want it to be hot, cold, whatnot, and also if it's, you know, wash, rinse, spin cycle like a normal washing machine. Make sure that when you're finished, pop that little basket back inside, locks the drum in, close the lid, and we're ready to go. So in the shower here, we've got pretty standard shower rose with your flick mixer, much like the bathroom that you'd have at home. And then above us, we've got our vent, which we can open, and then we turn on our extraction fan. Pretty simple, really. Let's jump back outside. So that's a wrap on the Lotus Trooper. We hope you've enjoyed watching. This van's actually about to head to its new owner soon, hence the red carpet. But if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to get in contact with us. We'd love to hear from you.